In this video, we're going to go ahead and get everything just basically set up. So here I have the default third-person template project, nothing else in it. And the only thing I've done is added the plugin itself. So what I typically recommend is you install the plugin to your project's plugins folder, because that's going to prevent any sort of potential auto update issues from the launcher, that kind of stuff, as well as if you for some reason need to either see the code or modify it or something like that, you have a lot easier of a time accessing it. Especially if this is a C++ project, everything will show up in your IDE. But what I did was I created a folder called plugins. Then I went to my engine's marketplace folder, just cut and pasted it over. And that's it. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and migrate over the core folder into this project. So that way we have a good starting point. We're not having to do everything from scratch. So here in the example project, I just head over to our root folder here, and we have two folders, SKGSF core, SKGSF example content. We want the core folder. So we're going to right click, migrate, make sure everything is just selected, and we want to move it to our project's content folder. So let's go ahead and let that do its thing. Okay, once that's done, we can head back over and we should have it right here. So now the only things we want to do are going to go ahead and be project settings and turning off motion blur, just because I royally hate it. So we're going to select the post-process volume, search for blur. Here's our motion blur. We're just going to go through and zero it all out. Then head to our project settings, and we want to adjust the near clip plane, and I'll explain why here in a second. So if we search for near clip, you'll see the near clip plane. Now, when you make changes to this, you do have to restart the editor. So I'm going to set mine to 1. So what the near clip plane does is it's kind of like a distance before objects start to clip in your scene from your, distance from your camera where objects start to clip from your scene. So you can see here, this wall is starting to clip like so, even though I'm not fully against the wall. I still have, distance I can move closer to it. So if you say have a firearm in your hand and you go to aim with it, the buttstock is going to be very close to the camera, and you don't want that to start clipping through. So the general consensus is you want this to be as high as possible without causing problems. So 1, for example, might not be low enough, or you might have a little bit more room to go to 1.5, 2, so on and so forth. I haven't experienced it myself, but I've heard people report that when this goes too low, they start having some weird visual problems. So do with that what you will. So we have that set to 1. The only other thing we want to do is search for stencil, custom depth stencil pass. This will be for night vision and all that if you're using the stencil setup. So we just want that to be enabled with stencil. This is also effective for thermals because, again, thermals use stencils. Now, lastly, we do want to have some form of dedicated collision profile for anything that we hold. So what I mean by that is let's just pretend that, this cube here it's a firearm. We walk up to it, press F, and if it has collision that is going to interact or interfere with our pawn, it is going to be pushing our pawn kind of out of the way and just doing a bunch of other stuff that we don't want. We don't want the pawn to have collision with something we're picking up. That's basically what kind of it. So what we want to do, go to project settings, go to collision, and if we head over to the example project, I actually have this already pre-configured as a way we can kind of copy it. So if we go to collision here, we can ignore the firearm collision as of now. This will end up being set up. Actually, we'll probably end up doing that now. But here we have this holdable preset. So query only, no physics collision. So that's going to make it to where we, can't just walk right through it. And just in case, I went ahead and made it ignore the pawn, but it blocks everything else. So if our firearm collision, we're walking up and our firearm interacts with another firearm, it's going to push it out of the way. So we're basically going to mimic this setup here. So I'm actually going to be lazy and drag it over. So first thing we want to do is create a custom trace channel and call this one firearm collision and just leave it to default as block. Next up, let's make a preset and we'll call this one holdable. The collision enabled is going to be query only, no physics collision. And then I guess we could give it a description, but I don't see a point. We're going to go ahead and make it ignore the pawn. And for object type, we're going to make it world dynamic because realistically, this is what we're using it for. It's not going to be moving around, or it's going to be moving around. So go ahead and hit accept and save. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out of the example project. And now we can look here. We have, let me actually reselect it so it shows back up. We have our firearm collision, and we have the preset of holdable. So if I change it to holdable, you can see everything is ignored. Well, the pawn is ignored, but everything else is set to block. So we're kind of where we want it now. I'm going to change that back to physics actor just so it is back to default. Save all, and we are pretty much kind of ready to begin. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and import some form of firearm, just something so we can have kind of like a starting point. And then we're going to go through, configure everything for our pawn, and just get everything, the remainder of the stuff set up. That's going to rely on, in our case anyways, marketplace assets. So I will see you then.